hope everybody is well. Today I wanted to make a whole month out of, making time for me, a new little series. I find spring is such a time for renewal, time for, fresh things coming up out of the ground, new beginnings, that sort of thing. And so I thought this would be a really good time to talk about taking care of yourself, starting a new practice, self care. So that's what we're going to do for this month. So when I think about self care, lots of different things might jump to your mind. You might think about going for a walk on a trail, chatting with a friend, having a bubble bath, reading a good book. Maybe meditating or tapping or something like that as part of your self-care ritual. There are a million different things that can be part of self-care, and honestly, some of them can be, it's very individual. For me, I know cleaning is part of self-care because when I have a clean space around me, I feel so much better. So it's really all about your own well-being. What's going to make you feel happy, feel healthy, feel calm, reduce your stress, those sorts of things, right? And of course, we try out, anybody you talk to probably has a different idea of what self care is. And we really need to just sort of take in what people give us and try things out and just decide for ourselves because we know our bodies best and we know what's going to work best for us. So today, what I thought I would do is just sort of hit 5 sort of general areas of self care that are important when you're thinking about how you want to incorporate things into your self-care routine. Just thinking about pulling things from each area is going to be really important. So before we get into that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Brooker. I am a relationship and stress coach. I help women who are stuck in any sort of challenging relationship, just not knowing how to move forward, not knowing what's keeping them blocked, whether it's with work or a partner, a family member, food, whatever that is. What's keeping you stuck in that spot? What's stopping you from moving forward? And how to really recognize that and embrace it in a way that helps you take those little steps that you need to move forward and bring more joy and more clarity and more peace into your relationships and your life. So number 1 is emotional self-care. So what's emotional self-care? Well, I don't even know that I need to say it. Obviously, it's this huge factor in our well-being and our happiness and our quality of life, how well we take care of ourselves emotionally, how we can recognize what's going on in our bodies, how we can process emotions, how we can move forward from those things. And the more sort of emotional self-care rituals that we bring into our lives, it makes us more resilient. It makes it easier for us to move through those really difficult times, those really stressful times. I'll tell you, my dad was in the hospital the last few weeks. He just got out, and now, with pneumonia, and now both my parents have been diagnosed with COVID. Like they've had that COVID diagnosis, and so it's really stressful in my life right now, trying to deal with all of this, and of course, our fears for their health and that sort of thing. But thank goodness I have incorporated these rituals into my life, and I did a lot of tapping today, I'll tell you that, just to try and calm myself down so I could be there for them and for myself. So it's important to learn to recognize our emotions and be able to express them in a healthy way. So, there's lots of ways to do that. It might be a meditation practice. It might be a tapping practice. It might be seeing a coach or a therapist, talking to a friend, keeping a journal, a million different things. And we'll get into more ideas as we go through the next few weeks. But just remember to keep that in mind when you're thinking about what you'd like your practice to look like. There are physical self-care practices. Are you taking care of your body? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating well? Are you drinking enough water? Physical self-care, I think sometimes we forget how important that is to us, and we always think, oh, I've got no time for that, and it's this perpetual cycle of I've got no time for that, so things actually get worse, and then we don't have any time for it, and then we don't have any energy for it. So it's really important to eat healthy and stay active. However that looks for you. That doesn't mean you have to go to the gym every day. That might mean you just go for a walk around the block. Whatever little thing you can fit in is going to be perfect for you. Um, there are spiritual self-care practices. So sometimes people associate that with religion, but it doesn't have to be religion. It's basically anything that sort of nurtures your spirit, right? It's going to be just as important as all of the other areas of self-care. You want to make sure that you are taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. Maybe for you that means just going and surrounding yourself with nature. Maybe it means bringing fresh flowers into your house. Maybe it just means doing some personal reflection again with your journal. Um, it could be anything, and it could be connecting with people who have similar faith in your community, that sort of thing. But it's really up to you what feeds your spirit. Social is another area. And of course, we all know how much better we feel when we are connected to the people around us, when um, we have friends that we can call on, we have family members that we can call on, that we can get together with and laugh and enjoy each other's company. We're human beings, and we are by nature just needing to gather and to be together. And of course, we need time to ourselves too. But that social aspect is really important to our mental health, and to our physical health, and to our spiritual health. So it kind of feeds all the other categories, right? So making time to spend with your family or your friends, or whatever that is for you, feed that social self-care. And then the last sort of self-care that I want to talk about is really practical self-care. And that would be things like taking care of your finances, or organizing your house, getting schedules if it's helpful. If you've got kids that are in lots of different sports, how are you organizing that to reduce the amount of stress in your life? Just being really practical. Are you meal planning? Are you, what is it that you're doing? And it really doesn't sound like a self-care thing, but really it is, because anything that's going to reduce the amount of stress for you is going to be good self-care. And that's what it's all about. It might be taking a budget. It might be taking a course on something that you're really interested in. So those are just sort of 5 areas of self-care that, and I'm sure there's a million more, or you can, fit the area you're thinking of into one of those. It doesn't really matter. But as we're starting to sort of get into this and think about bringing more self-care rituals into our lives, it's going to be really important to remember these 5 areas as we go through our tasks, our little things that we're going to try and do over the next few weeks. And if you're having problems with getting your self-care into practice, finding the time, finding the motivation, removing the blocks, that sort of thing, then I would love to chat with you and see how we can work together to help you through that. So that's it for me for today. So remember, there's those 5 areas, right? Your emotional, your physical, your spiritual, your social, and practical well-being. 5 different areas to think about. Thanks for listening. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you. Just reply to the email or comment below. I'd love to see you be friends on my, on Facebook at Living in Yes. And feel free to download your freebies below. And I'm actually going to take the self-care stuff and actually incorporate it into a freebie for later in the month. So hopefully you'll have some use for that too. So take care. Bye for now.